Well, what's up, there, guys? Brian here, the 3 Topics Gaming here to share with you another one of my worst to best ranking videos to share with you guys today. Recently, the unnecessary sequel to Todd Phillips' Joker film came out, and it was an absolute disaster. I'm not sure if you guys want me to do a review on it, because I did have the dissatisfaction, unneeded pleasure to actually see it and not have such a great time, so let me know if you want me to do a review on that one. But in the meantime, someone actually sent me the idea that now that we have a new Joker film, it would be a good time to actually do a worst to best ranking of all of the live action performances of actors doing the Joker. And I thought that was a great idea. So that's what we're going to do here today. So if you happen to enjoy this video by the end, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Keep tracking me on my future videos. And remember, if any of you guys have ideas, future reviews, or rankings, or just discussion videos in general, please let me know what you would like to see in the comments down below, and I will try to get it up to you as soon as I can. And before I start my ranking, I just want to thank the person who sent in this idea right up top. So again, thank you for the idea. This video would not exist without you. So let's start off with what is, in my opinion, my least favorite live-action performance of the legendary character known as the Joker. And just as a heads up, I'm not judging the actor, I'm not judging the performance, I'm simply judging the portrayal, my personal opinion on each individual portrayal of the Joker, starting now. Alright, starting with my least favorite performance comes from, I believe, if I'm saying this right, comes from Cameron Monaghan from the television show Gotham. Now, I think this actor is absolutely phenomenal. I thought he was great in Shameless. I think he's incredible as Cal Kestis. But as the Joker, I just flat out do not like this portrayal as the Joker. Now, to be fair, I didn't like the show Gotham in general after I say season 2. And what they did with the Joker character was just a little bit strange. The fact that they made this version kind of obsess over Bruce Wayne, and then there was this weird kind of storyline where actually it was like a pair of twins, and then one twin got killed, and then like his essence or something got transferred to the other twin, and he also went crazy, and he did all this crazy stuff in Gotham. I mean, the whole point of the Gotham show was to show what Gotham was like before Batman arrived, and the answer seems to have been not any different. So that kind of ruined the whole essence of the show itself. And this portrayal of the Joker was one that I just was not a fan of. Did he have an interesting look at times? Sure, but even at that point, it just seemed way too goofy for it to try to tell a kind of brought down to realistic level. And I think, though the performance, I think he did a very good job. I just don't like this version of the Joker character itself because there's not any sense of structure. And I understand that for a character like the Joker, he's all about anarchy and craziness and randomness. But even in those departments, there's some kind of point to this character. Because if this is how he is before there's even any sense of Batman, then I don't think this character in the world we're setting up in Gotham, or this version of Gotham, had no real purpose. And because of that, that made me just not a fan and just could not relate to him or just enjoy this portrayal of the character. Again, actor, incredible. But this version of Joker was by far my least favorite, which is why he's the bottom of my list. Alright, taking the number 5 spot on my list might upset a few people, maybe some older fans, but it has to go to Cesar Romero. Look, this was Batman long before I was born, long before my time. I understand that era of Batman, but it's just not for me. And that's why I don't have anything really negative to say about this version of the Joker, except he's like a glorified cartoon character, which is weird because there is a cartoon character in the Batman animated television show that's done a lot more scary and a lot more enjoyable to watch than this version. And it kind of just made the Joker. But to be fair, there were so many goofy interpretations of all these villains, it kind of made them all feel like they were the same type of character, just slightly different. And I don't think that this version of the Joker really stood out as opposed to all the other villains, at least from what little of him I'd seen of him, because I think I've seen like maybe a few episodes of the old school Adam West Batman as well as the Batman film, and just what I saw was just like, that might have worked back then, but this doesn't work for me now. So I don't really have anything negative to say, but I don't really have anything positive to say. All I can say is that this version of Joker just flat out did not work for me, which is why he's number 5 on my list. Taking number 4 spot on my list is going to have to go to Jared Leto's performance as the Joker, which we saw him in the original Suicide Squad movie, and he had some scenes in, like, I believe Zack Snyder's Justice League. So we know there's a lot about Jared Leto's performance that we haven't actually seen. But, like, from what we saw, it wasn't bad. There was definitely a lot of potential. There was definitely a lot of potential for this to stand out. And there were a number of key scenes that I actually do like Jared Leto's performance. The problem is that he kind of felt more like a mob boss. And that's never been to me what the Joker was all about. I think we never really had a chance to actually see Jared Leto and Ben Affleck actually have a good amount of time to interact outside of, like, I think maybe had like one scene in the Justice League, but you could tell but again, it's a shame we never actually got a solo Ben Affleck Batman film. I really think had we had the chance, we really would have gotten something really, really special. But what little we actually got of him in the Suicide Squad movie and in the Justice League Zack Snyder's cut was, there were elements that could have worked. I just don't think we were given a chance to see the potential. I think the potential was there, and what little of it I saw, I did enjoy, but there just wasn't enough of it for me to really, really enjoy. It was just like they were teasing, like there was some level of greatness. I think this could have worked had they done more with him. So really, his spot here is really only set because we just were not given the opportunity to see what this character could really do in the long run, and we only got small snippets of that. What little we got of it, I thought was okay. It could have been great, but we just weren't given the chance, which is why, unfortunately, Jared Leto, at least for me, has to take the number 4 spot on my list. Taking the number 3 spot on my list is going to have to go to Joaquin Phoenix and his portrayal of the Joker character in the original Joker film. We are completely ignoring everything that happened in the sequel because let's just, the sooner we forget about it, the better. But I absolutely thought this portrayal, or his interpretation of the Joker, was very, very sympathetic because unlike every other version where there's so much mystery around the Joker character, and that's kind of one of the main mystiques about what makes Joker an interesting character in general, this version, Arthur, you understood why he kind of became the way he was. And it really wasn't based on him just being flat out insane. It was based off of his hard childhood, the abuse he had to deal with, just the tough life he had to deal with, and everything he did was more of a reaction. I don't think he went out and set out to just cause all this chaos because he wanted to. He really was just a victim of the era that he was living with, and he was the result of that. And I think him embracing that side of him and becoming the Joker character was something that I thought that a lot of people in that movie will relate to. And I thought that was an absolutely incredible way to present the Joker character. Now, everyone wants to say that, we all want to be civilized, but we all acknowledge there is a little bit of darkness in all of us, despite the fact that we all want to deny that. And I think that this interpretation of the Joker was kind of an embodiment of how everyone in that town, in his particular lifestyle, was feeling. And I really liked how they pushed that message, and was something that I thought was incredible. And I thought Joaquin Phoenix absolutely deserved the Oscar for his performance. Now, again, they don't really do too much of it in the sequel, which I hate talking about. But I think that this portrayal was probably the one you could kind of semi-understand the most. And it was proof that the Joker didn't have to be such a mysterious character. You could actually show everything about him, and he was still an amazing character. Which is why this portrayal of the Joker takes number 3 spot on my list. Taking the number 2 spot on my list is going to have to go to Jack Nicholson's performance as the Joker in the 1989 film titled Batman. Now, let's be honest. Jack Nicholson's Joker is clearly the highlight. He is the star of this film. Michael Keaton's Batman is iconic and great, but during that era of Batman, I'd say between like Batman and Batman Returns and Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, the villains really were the main star of those films. And Jack Nicholson eats up every single scenery. Every time he's on the screen as Joker, it's just a magnificent performance. And you can tell he's having so much fun with the character. And I think that version of the Joker knows he's kind of broken, and he likes it. He likes the chaos. He likes having fun. He has a great time killing people. And that is really, I would say, out of any interpretation of the Joker, that version is probably the closest, at least in my opinion, to the comic book version of the Joker. He has all these weird sort of gadgets, and he's able to kind of really hold his own against Batman in a sense, and uses his henchmen. Heck, even his henchmen are having a good time around him. But heck, you never know on a dime when he'll turn on you. And I think Jack Nicholson's performance has really stand the test of time. People still talk about it to this day. It's just so iconic, and it's a masterful performance, which is why Jack Nicholson's performance as the iconic Joker in Batman 1989 is number 2 on my list. Taking number 1 spot, which obviously should not surprise anyone, and I would be a bit surprised if anyone else could put number 1 if they did a ranking of this, but it's going to have to go to Heath Ledger's Joker. Now look, I, like many people, was a critic. When it was announced that Heath Ledger was going to be the next Joker, I was upset. Back in, I think, like 06 or 07. I was like, what? Heath Ledger? How the hell do you go from Gay Cowboy and Brokeback Mountain, which was a gay-ass movie, to the Joker? This is going to be awful. He's going to be just ridiculous. It's going to ruin the whole film. I actually can openly admit, I went into The Dark Knight thinking it was going to suck. Only to find out that, holy shit, this guy is the best thing in the film. It's a shame he passed away when he did, but holy hell, he gave a once-in-a-lifetime performance. And not only that, he became not just the best thing in this film, but I put him literally tied with Robert Patrick's portrayal as the T-1000 as being the most incredible villain I have ever seen on screen. I really don't know who's better between him or the T-1000. I really can't decide. Just as I can't really decide what's the better film between The Dark Knight and Terminator 2. But going back to his portrayal, the thing I like about this version of the Joker is not only is he so mysterious with his constant retelling of how he got his scars, not only does he kind of upgrade his approach to dealing with things, going from, dealing with mob dealers to wanting to take on Batman. But the one thing that I think that all the other portrayals are missing is that they had a general message. They wanted to prove a point. Now, yeah, don't get me wrong. Joaquin Phoenix's may have been the result of his circumstance, but because you're not sure about this version of the Joker, he has a message that when the chips are down, all we care about is ourselves. And he wanted to prove that point, and he almost got away with it. And I just think that he seems so random with his idea of, do I really look like a guy with a plan? But he clearly has a plan. But he is a master manipulator. And he always seems to be like an element of chaos and anarchy. And that's just something that I don't think any of the prior portrayals was ever able to do to the same level. Now again, much like Joaquin Phoenix, Heath Ledger absolutely deserved the Oscar that he got. And it's possible that, heck, had he lived, we might have seen a little bit of him in The Dark Knight Rises. We're not sure. There's all kinds of rumors of what they would have done with his character. But again, his portrayal as Joker is easily not just my personal favorite portrayal of the Joker. It may not necessarily be comic book accurate, but I think that it is by far the most realistic take on the character in our real world. But it is by far the one that I have enjoyed the most, even after almost like 15 plus years, which is why Heath Ledger's portrayal of the Joker is by far my favorite out of all the live action performances. So now that you guys know my ranking, I would like to know, how would you guys rank these 6 live action performances? Share your ranking with me and everyone else in the comments down below. And like always, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I'll see you guys next time.